Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Truly Bedrock Season 4. This is episode 51. Now, talked about it a little bit at the beginning of last episode. 50 episodes is a huge accomplishment, and 51 episodes, and 52, 53, so on and so forth. Each episode we post from this point, including this episode, we are hitting a personal best every single episode. Makes me super excited. Yep. Now, a lot of the times, we've kind of fizzled off on the projects and things that we've had going on, and I see a lot of people doing these longer seasons and series with a very, very little effort. And I've always kind of wondered how they even do it. Well, I've found the groove. What you have to do is you have to get that creative/writer's block early on in the season, like I did when we made the shops, and then it just flows from there. In the last episode, we actually did quite a bit of work. We did some mossification of the mushroom island. A lot of moss has been spread. A lot of bone meal has been used. I do want to go through eventually and hit like these little dirt patches that you can see on the side and turn those even to moss or the stone as well. That's all in due process. I do need to get the moss back from the base. But this took quite a bit of time and effort, and we've got a long way to go. I said that we got about a quarter of the half of the island done, so a lot of work needs to happen. We also had two live streams before the end of the last episode where we did a bunch of digging on this back section. We're almost done. By the time this episode comes out, hopefully we will have this done. We will see. Another thing that I did, and I actually did it off camera, was I started collecting mud. I've got a little bit in here and a lot more to go, converting a lot of what is mined over here in these chests into mud. The next thing that we worked on was this area. Turned out really, really good. I love it. It was a suggestion made and seconded, and we did it. I did have a comment on this episode saying I wonder what the floor would look like. Just imagine like that much of the tree. And that's what it would look like. I do like the breakup of the... I'm going to look at that Enderman. I know it. But I do like the breakup of the skulk versus the floor here. So I'm not going to change it. I like what we have done here and what we have created. This is absolutely gorgeous and far exceeded my original expectations. Also, in that episode, I did start work on the Nether Tunnel, and this thing is looking pretty good. We've got quite a bit of this done, and we have much, much more to go. So what I want to do today is something I haven't done in a little while. I think we haven't done one since Season 1, and I want to take you guys on a little bit of a world tour for two reasons. The first one is if anybody's new to the channel, they can kind of overview the builds real quick. We can go back through and kind of relive some of the moments that we've had. And also, I just know that there's some things I left unfinished, and I've got a notepad and a pencil here. We are going to absolutely write these down so we can finish them. The first build that I want to talk about is the spider spawner. This isn't the first build that we did in the season, but this thing has been a great source of experience as well as spider eyes and string. We've gotten a little bit of bone and arrows from it, and of course, spider heads. We built this, we found this whilst mining, decided it would be a good little farm, and it has provided for us quite a bit of materials. And a nice little AFK spot here. We did some of this work on stream, and one of the more fun things that I thought about this build was the actual doing some exploring around in creative with what spiders can and can't climb. And in case you're wondering, the answer is, well, they can climb... Wow. Sorry, a little personal there. My bad. They can climb anything. Yep, even cactus. The only thing about the cactus is they die. So we place the cactus down to kill them as to not gain, the mob cap, or have the mob cap too high to keep the spiders spawning. And we also learned that you can place carpet down to prevent mobs from spawning. We knew that, but what we didn't know is you can place it right next to cactus. That was an interesting find. Quite deep in the world is where that spawner actually is, and we took to creative and did a bunch of things with X-ray and stuff, making sure what we needed to light up and mob proof and those types of things. and we got it done. Um, and then we built this spider. Of course, it's going to be dark when we go to look at this because, well, wouldn't be truly bedrock if it wasn't nighttime. But yes, we built this spider here, sitting on the side of a cliff here. I thought this could look neat with the spider kind of crawling around on the mountainside. And when I did this, I could have just done a smaller build, to be honest with you, but I thought this would look neat. And then we carved out this back area to, you know, do the Patreon stuff. And I actually need to, yep, I need to change this. So I need to actually get back in here and finish this. So it's a good thing that we're doing this because the Patreon area is not complete. So Patreon area. Yes, sir. That's what we need to do. Yep, I need to get this all finished up. I wanted to do some kind of like vibrant build in here with quartz and stuff. I have an idea for this. And of course, shameless plug time. You don't have to be a Patreon, but if that is something you are interested in, there is a link to it in the description below if you want to and get your name on the side of something like this. The next build that we're going to talk about, of course, is the coup de grace, the main thing that I wanted to do this season, the observatory. So we've actually done quite a bit of work over here. This is my main base of operation. And I wanted to do an observatory. I wanted to do the whole thing, the roof, the telescope, the whole 9 yards. So we took to, figuring it out. The main part of this building was actually done via plots. Plotz. Plots. But if you want to Google it, this is actually based off of a real place called the Chamberlain Observatory that is in Denver, Colorado. That's where I got the idea, floating around in the Google land of images, and we built this thing. It does have an upper level. It has many lower levels. It has the little planetarium side. I wanted a storage facility. I wanted to have a little barnyard for all of my early animals. We used to ride a horse around quite a bit. We got a skeleton horse. We had a couple of horses perish. To the powdered snow. Moment of silence. We've got some brown mooshroom cows and a regular mooshroom cow. We will talk about all those things momentarily. We did the cool little staircase. We've got the balcony area that does wrap around its entirety. We kind of pretend to be a roofer for a minute, then come back around. Super nice. Super nice, super fun to work with, and is that not a thing anymore? Can I not? Aha! Success! It was fun playing around the snow and using the different colors and getting the suggestions for the copper roof and then lining that with the glow lichen so that we don't see any snow. Waxing all of this stuff so that it doesn't tarnish or not tarnish, oxidize, that's what it's called. Yeah, and it turned out to be a really, really cool build. Once we got the main frame of the base, we did do a bunch of farming and stuff that we will go check out, but then the final piece to the base was the telescope that we built. Yep. Very fun build. This took me a while to figure out. I dove on to some creative world and placed down some blocks, and we just started figuring it out, and the vast majority of the base is done. As a matter of fact, the base is done, and I'm very, very happy about that. Unlike Season 2, that you hear me complain a lot about. The next thing I want to talk about is, well, the shops and the different levels of our base. We decided to have shops in our base. We've kind of gone back and forth on the server with having shops in the nether and then our base. I like both ideas. I like the nether because we all use the hub and it would be in close proximity. But I like the base because it does give you an opportunity to go to different areas and check things out. So I have an upper level, I have a main level, and 3 lower levels. This area is literally just some novelty items that have to do with the observatory. I did get some of these backwards with meteorites versus moon rocks. I even got lazy and didn't name these. I never expected to sell any of this, and I haven't, so that's tracking perfectly. As planned. It was all part of my plan. Eventually, I put items here. This just happened not too long ago. This was an idea brought to my attention by Oz, a member of the community. Said you should build planets. And we did. And it's pretty neat. We sell all the prismarine bits, and we sell frog lights for everybody to buy, which we haven't sold in quite a while. Yep. But we have the things. Directly into our base, we do have a directory here with all of the different things and stuff, right? We have the welcome page, and then only the items and shulkers are for sale. To the left and right of you is a staircase that leads to the upper level. Behind is a water vader that leads to the lower levels. Then we talk about all the different things that we sell. And we have quite a bit. All the prices are marked and all of that stuff. So it's pretty awesome. That's my main storage facility, so that is not really for people to check out. This is. Jesse gave me the idea for this, showing off all of the beautiful builds that we have done in this season, especially this one. This is my favorite. And we will talk about that one last. But we've got some bee farms. Originally, this area started out with being a kelp farm, so that we could get bone meal. And then, of course, we got more advanced bone meal. And I wanted a bunch of bee drops for waxing the different copper stuff. So we did get some honeycomb. This farm over here is a honeycomb and a honey farm. I have a dual purpose. And then all of the farms over here are strictly honey. And what I really love about these farms is this is a design that I created way back when the Buzzy Bee update first came out. It uses locking comparators with a furnace with a set number of items in. It works, it has worked, and I love it. And then using dispenser magic, you can actually put in bottles or shears or both and get whatever chance gives you. It's a really, really nice area. Then over here we have our netherwart farm. It is just a manual farm that we take a fortune pickaxe to. It has netted us quite a bit of netherwart. Like, I've sold quite a bit out of here. I've restocked this. I still have this much in here. Very, very good farm. We just go harvest it every now and then. Now, way back when I built the moss farm, I did actually build the center of this right here. And we did actually tear these down and rebuild them so they were centrally located in the base. Built these farms up, and then started playing around in creative, creating these different wall designs. And I messed around with a lot of blocks that I've never played with before, and I think this thing turned out absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite areas. It's one of my favorite farms. Big shout out to Egg Fur once again. These are his farm designs. The only thing that I did that was special was I mirrored this farm to this farm. Instead of building this twice, we flipped it around. Quite a bit of work. This thing does net us a lot of bone meal. We have used a lot of bone meal. The second lower level area was originally going to be a smelting area for me and not anything other than that. This has evolved. All of these areas were never really planned to be, but they have evolved, and we sell bones and leather and gunpowder and spider eyes, and it's a super cool system. I really do love the different things that we can do down here with the smelter and the shops, and it's turned out to be a really, really, really fun build, really cool. I love it. The super smelter is special. It is a callback to a build I did many, many seasons ago. As a matter of fact, the whole lower level section of this base is a callback to something I did before I played SMPs. I said many seasons ago, but I meant many moons ago, back when I played on Xbox 360. I built a smelter with a minecart that sat right here, and you would put your items in it and push a button and it would go off into the furnaces. There was some fire and stuff. It looked really cool. The coal, I had a minecart that just always looped around, and you could fill it when you needed to. This one is a little bit different. I have a lava production on the side, which is what all these cauldrons are. As you see, we got lava. We can put it in here in the chest. I do have some coal as well. And then we can Actually, we can send this thing off, and as you will see, we get a block of coal in all of these furnaces all the way down. And the minecart makes its way back to here, which is neat. And I should be 16 coal less than what was originally in there. I think it's a really, really neat system. As you see, I've smelted a bunch of stuff. 16 buckets for 16 furnaces is why I have this laid out the way I do, where this doesn't loop back and forth. And with 2 buckets of lava, which is what I typically have between all of my cauldrons, I can smelt 3,200 items in here. Pretty good deal. But my favorite part is this part right here, where you put items in the minecart and you push the button, and the minecart will actually disappear for a while before it falls back down in its hole. We got a little close with our builds here, but it's no big deal. So what we end up having is the minecart with the items come across this line dispensing 1 item to smelt. It will come around here and hit this detector rail. Even if there's only 1 item in there, this detector rail will pick up the 1 item. It will send a pulse, and it will leave this straight so that the minecart bounces off of here and goes back. And goes back all the way around, down through here, hits that block, and then returns. I misspoke. The minecart actually comes up this rail and then goes that way. It dumps an item, it comes back and dumps a second item, and then it will bounce back and forth between this until it's out of items. Once it is out of items, it will unpower, and then it will shoot itself off. And I think that's a super awesome smelter. Like I said, call back to some of the very first videos I actually posted on YouTube. Now, the world I was playing in was was on that world that I built, not necessarily the videos were of the super smelter, just so we're not confused. Now, the back wall was dedicated. I was going to originally put in some villagers for trading, and I had the cheaty furnaces for experience before they fixed that. We no longer can use this area, and I stopped wanting to put villagers in here when Silent moved near us because I don't want any issues with villages linking and villager linking and all that stuff. So if you guys have an idea for something that we can put in this area that's kind of industrial, you know, heavy duty, drop a comment. Drop a comment down below and let me know. Moving on to the third area. Third lower level, and this is as far as people are supposed to go. I have a little switch there for me, but we have our dye farms. Most every color can be farmed using a flower, like red and blue, yellow, magenta, light gray, orange, pink, blue. There is also, I believe, white. And I believe there's a couple others I'm missing, like purple and stuff like that. I didn't want to do that. I'm using these two to get purple. We have a cactus farm that is producing cactus for us that we get our green from. We combine that with blue to get cyan. We combined it with the bone meal farm to get the lime. We have a cocoa bean farm. We have obviously the bone meal farm, and then we have an ink farm that we will get to eventually. These are quaint little farms, and I made this kind of like a villager area with the clouds kind of running through. I think I should actually bring these down by a block. Would have looked a lot better, but it is a neat area nonetheless. On the ends here, I have a nano farm that I've actually used to grow quite a bit of wheat. You turn this thing on, you put a bunch of bone meal in it, which is relatively easy to do just standing here. Flick the lever, and you can grow until you're out of bone meal. On the other side, I have this shulker box that we can put bone meal in. Same thing, it goes in here and automatically starts dispensing, and we gain bone meal, or sugarcane, which reminds me, I need to make a sugarcane farm at the big area of farms. Now, one thing you guys would have seen me kind of run past and we didn't really talk about was the floor itself. This is a floor design that I came up with that fit this room, and using the gilded blackstone and kind of a pop of color, looks like we're having some issues with water. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Because it's not happening here, it's happening here. I don't know. Anyway, this was a design I came up with, and I love it so much, using all the Blackstone variants and the Crying Obsidian and the Gilded Blackstone, that I started thinking about what I did here, and I have built the same farm using Deep Slate. Oh, look, we got that issue here, too. We have the amethyst as our pop of color, and then we use the redstone just because I like the way it lights up when you walk over it. You could use any deep slate ore and deep slate variants. I believe I threw basalt in here as well. You can also use stone, which we did down here. Used emerald because of villagers. We have some coral, which I thought would be a neat thing. And we could also do this with netherrack, because netherrack has quartz and gold ore. We do have the mangrove trees now, so that could look a little bit better. Rather than red nether brick, we have those options, and the floor, I think, looks absolutely amazing. So this switch right here is for me. This is a kind of my only area to go into. I can keep an eye on the big cactus farm that we built. We built a cocoa bean farm that supplies all the cocoa beans that we can need for dye and cactus for dye. And I also did build a pumpkin and melon farm back here that I kind of forgot that I did. I just kind of threw this in here as a way to fill space. Yeah, I forgot, completely forgot about this area, but it is cool nonetheless. Little back area to the builds. I can come in here and put bone meal anytime I want to collect flowers. And that's how I do it. Down this little tunnel, we go to a few more areas. I was originally going to dig an area here and have another area to the base. I knew I was going to do that. But I decided that the farms I was getting ready to build weren't going to necessarily be in the base, and it was kind of time to move. But before we did that, I did throw down a bamboo farm similar to the sugarcane farm. We needed a lot of scaffolding for the mob farm that we built, and we got quite a bit. Again, a lot of bone meal, easy farm. I also then threw down a concrete maker where we can just place down concrete powder here. It will push it into a flat layer that we can just mine up and get concrete, because we've been using a lot of different blocks this season. And it's been a lot of fun messing with all the different things. Then over here, I've got side-by-side mushroom farms. We can grow the large mushrooms, both red and brown, if we want to. Collect the drops and use the blocks for builds. We have used red mushroom. I've used almost every block in the game outside of probably endstone and purpur. Yep. But I was using these to gain mushroom stems, and they weren't working fast enough. So I decided to take to creative and create this monstrosity right here. Yep. Again, with some mushrooms and some bone meal, which we have a lot of, and we have mushrooms. We can place mushrooms in here. Let's demonstrate. Let's demonstrate for you. For those of you that haven't seen it, this is a contraption by my own doing. We place this down, we bone meal it till it grows. It's gonna make a liar of me. Does it not work anymore? Is it really this? Could be. Could be. Yep. It pushes the mushroom stems away. It then drops a TNT after a certain amount of time. Looks like I got some tweaking to do. And we blow the top of the mushroom off, and then we go ahead and collect the mushroom stems. It only gives us 3 blocks, plus potentially this one here. If you wanted to take your Silk Touch axe and grab it, you could before the TNT goes off. But, you know, it's a thing. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to have to go into creative. I'll have to go into creative and figure this all out again. It's been a while. It's not a big deal. It's not a huge deal. But we will have to get it back and working sooner rather than later, because I think we're going to need some mushroom stems. So early on in the season, we all kind of took to a food war, right? Everybody decided what their favorite food was going to be, and we stood behind it, and mine was mushroom stew. Yep. What I love about that whole storyline and story arc was I picked mushroom stew, and I have done so many things with mushrooms. We have the mushroom stem farm, which needs to be fixed. We have the big mushroom farm, and then something I forgot to show off, kind of, is the regular mushroom farm. Yep, this is a cool little design. We learned a lot about how mushrooms grow and light levels, the fact that they can grow in any light level. On mycelium, it needs to be completely dark with any other blocks. You can place them on podzol in any light level, but they will not grow. This thing is very, very resource intensive and not a very great farm if you want mushrooms, but it was a passive way to collect mushrooms and continue my mushroom stew dominancy because it took a lot of mushrooms because you eat them very often. Speaking of mushrooms, we built our very first ever custom mushroom over here at Chaos Hill. I wanted to put a build in this and didn't know what to do. So with the whole mushroom thing, we decided to build a custom mushroom that kind of fits nicely in between all of these things. I haven't been in this thing in a while. This is Mooshroom Man's little hidey hole. And there's not much going on up here. Just kind of a safe haven from all of the, anti-mushroom haters. Yep, that's what we're going with. One other thing that we built over here, of course, was the mushroom on top of the lucky block. We could not resist doing that. Tiz built that mushroom block or the lucky block that looks like a Mario block, so I had to build the mushroom. I mean, we had to do it, right? So awesome. With the base pretty much wrapped up, we decided to move on with builds and things, moving to the mushroom island that we had been back and forth quite a bit, harvesting mushrooms and doing those types of things. Then the 1.19 update came out, and so we came out here to this basalt delta and built ourselves a pretty massive froglight farm. Took a concept from a Groova guy and really kind of went into creative and tweaked it and redone the way everything works, like adding in the powdered snow. And this thing does produce a lot of frog lights quite quickly. Had to do some serious investigation in creative as far as keeping the frogs in this area because they were jumping up. I tweaked the different floor designs and things like that. Yep. But this thing produces a pretty good amount of slime balls and frog lights. Slime balls. Magma cream. And we've AFK'd over here quite a bit, getting all kinds of frog lights in anticipation of utilizing them and selling them. Coming up with the AFK spot and height and stuff like that was part of the tweaking process. Spawning in a basalt delta is a lot faster than a spawner type farm with my chats with Tiz. The only issues that we had was right over here there was a cave. Had to turn on an x-ray pack and plug that up so that magma cubes didn't spawn, and then we had some glowstone right in here that we had to take down as well. Very nice farm. I AFK'd over here for quite a bit and got a lot of frog lights that we took back to the base, and we haven't really been selling them, but we've got a lot. At the very beginning of the episode, I showed off the nether hub, nether tunnel thing that was going on, and we showed off the mossification, so we're going to skip right over that and move on to the next little build, which was the mooshroom farm. This farm was built a while back in anticipation of selling cooked beef and leather. Then once the food war was kind of over, I decided that cooked beef was going to be a much better food source than the mushroom stew, and this thing has produced a lot of food. I have a shulker box worth in my ender chest, plus a shulker box here. I've taken a shulker box of leather to the base, and nice and easy little farm here. These guys get automatically cooked using campfires, and despite not having a trident killer, it works very, very well. Moving on from there, we of course have our main farming area. And just a short flight over from the mooshroom farm, we of course have our main farming area. We have a mob farm that we could change up some of the filters down here and collect the string and spider eyes like we talked about early on. We have the ink farm here, and then of course we have the villager trading hall / iron farm. All of these farms work very well. They're all designs from Silent Whisper, which is funny. I've said it before in a video that sometimes it is just easier to go to the professionals and utilize a tutorial that's already there, as opposed to trying to create something on your own accord. One thing that I know I need to do, and I found out in a live stream, is I need to replace the tridents here, and I still need to come down and replace the dropper, or the dispenser, to a dropper. So let's write that down. There we go. Perfect. So these, originally it was this area that was built so that we could get the black dye. Then decided to do this for experience because of the cheaty furnaces being gone, and it does work very, very nicely. And then I wanted a source of iron and a trading hall of my own, so we built this bad boy right here. Nice assortment of villagers for different things to sell, like rotten flesh. We have some fishermen, leather workers. Yeah, got some leather workers to sell the leather to, that is right. We do have some fishermen that we can sell string to, which is really, really nice. And this area is not done, but coming along nicely. The final area in our world tour is the Guardian Farm. This farm was something that took me quite a bit of time, and I have not messed around with one since the Legacy Console Edition. I believe Xbox 360 Edition, as a matter of fact. So I decided to tackle a Guardian Farm. I did originally have all of these tubes going up in a huge platform to the center where we were killing the Guardians, and that farm was good but not great. We tore that all down and then built this one over here, which is a design by Slack Lizard. And we also decided to gut the monument. So we have our farm over here with 4 trident killers. This thing is where we've been getting the majority of our experience as of lately. And then we built this thing in here, which is an automatic AFK crafter for sea lanterns. You stand in here. Once you turn on the 2 levers down here, one for the prismarine crystals, one for the prismarine shards, you stand in here, and with the help of an auto clicker, you can get the items that you need to make sea lanterns. Very, very neat farm. Another contraption that I built by my own brain. We were saving Guardian heads. I do believe that this is an overflow for the prismarine crystals because we have quite a few of those as opposed to the, prismarine shards as opposed to the prismarine crystals, which we don't have a lot of. All the items come up, and then they just kind of circle around this thing until they are picked up. Very nice system, very nice farm. I absolutely love the way this thing turned out, and the redstone, it looks really good, almost professional. So Silent just did a Q&A for reaching 500,000 subscribers. Congratulations to Silent Whisperer. I know he has been monumental in the Bedrock community for a long time. I remember watching him long before I joined Truly Bedrock, and it's a great achievement to see somebody that you know, somebody that you play with, you consider a friend, and I'm very, very excited for him. But the reason I bring up his Q&A is he was asked a question on how you don't get bored with Minecraft, and his answer was really, really good. Try something new. Try something different. Don't do the same old build farms, build buildings, terraform, whatever. Dabble in things that you've never dabbled in before or haven't dabbled in a while. And I believe that to be correct because this Guardian farm is something I haven't touched for many, many versions of the game. So figuring out the structure spawn mechanics and stuff like that was really fun. The research side of things, the building side of things, it was all great. The other thing that we've done this season quite differently than other seasons is we have shied away from our traditional build style and tried other blocks and tried new things and new placements. We're going to be doing a whole new thing with terraforming this island and putting builds on this side. Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah. And putting builds on this side as well. So it's going to be an interesting mixture of things, not to mention this side is going to be very different than this side, so on and so forth. So very wise words were said, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. Try something new, try something different. I think that's what's kept me fresh and refreshed for this season so far of Truly Bedrock. But as the sun sets on another day here on the server, that is all we have pretty much done this season. It's quite funny to run through it in an episode of all the things you've built that have taken time and days of planning and all of that. It's a bittersweet thing, but it was great. I hope you guys enjoyed reminiscing some of the builds that we've done, and I have a list of things that need to be fixed or finished up here, which is really good, and the second half of my intentions of today's episode. So this is where we're going to end things. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Check the description down below for all the different ways to follow me. There are links to Twitter, Twitch, and Discord there. There's also links to the Truly Bedrock Discord and Truly Bedrock website. There's a link to all the other members' YouTube channels in the description as well. If you're interested in live stream replays, Pokemon challenges, or Patreon, there's also links to those in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, enjoying the content, interacting, chit-chatting. It's appreciated so much. I can't express or thank you guys enough for the continued support. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one.